got a lot of great feedback on my last video where I talked about 5 reasons that you might want to shoot 1080 over 4K even if you have a 4K camera. A lot of great discussion, especially over on our website over at texasbowhunter.com. Some people, of course, have disagreed with that assertion, which I fully expected when I put the video out. I do want to clarify that I was in no way saying that you shouldn't shoot 4K. And in fact, there are situations where 4K certainly makes sense. And in this video today, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a follow-up to the previous video, and we're going to go through some of those reasons. We'll talk about 4 or 5 reasons why you might want to shoot 4K video instead of 1080, even if you're posting that on YouTube or a 1080 timeline. The first and the most obvious is 4K is double the resolution over 1080. And so all else being equal, a 4K camera is going to give you a lot better picture. So if you're watching on a big TV, so if you're the type of person that wants to share your videos on a large screen, then 4K may be a great option for you. It's going to give you really great resolution in those larger screen sizes, and you're going to be able to take advantage of that 4K resolution. The second reason that a lot of people mention is to basically future-proof either your equipment or your footage. And that makes sense to some degree. And a couple of people mentioned that just the natural progression of things from standard definition to we did 720 and then 1080 and then 4K. Those other formats have kind of somewhat become obsolete. And so the thought is that 1080 will soon be obsolete and 4K will be the standard. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but as we discussed in the last video, the way that most people consume video these days is more on handheld mobile devices rather than on larger screen TVs. And certainly the analytics on my channel support that. And I think that trend for the foreseeable future anyway is going to continue. I'm seeing the number of people that are viewing on a handheld device for my channel is actually increasing and not decreasing. Now, with that said, a lot of people mention as far as having the footage that they want to share with their family, with their kids or grandkids or somewhere down the line, and having that video in a 4K resolution instead of 1080 will help future-proof that. So if you want to look at it that way, then that certainly is a benefit to owning a 4K camera and shooting in 4K if you want to future-proof that footage. All right, so in my mind, one of the biggest reasons to shoot 4K currently, even if I'm uploading on a 1080 timeline, is because it allows me to reframe my footage. So you basically have twice the resolution on your 4K footage as you would on 1080. So what that allows you to do is you can punch in and reframe that shot without losing the quality. So you can do a 200% zoom, 200% crop if you will, and still have the same resolution as your normal 1080 footage, and so without that loss of quality. That can give you the appearance of you shooting with multiple cameras. It can help you hide some of your jump cuts or mistakes or retakes in your footage, and especially with the talking head footage like what we're doing right here. Kind of along those same lines, and it works really well, especially for somebody that's doing a self-filmed hunt, is the ability to add motion to your shot. So a lot of us are filming up in a tree, or we have our camera on a tripod, and so we're at a static fixed position. The ability to punch in with that 4K, set keyframes, and either zoom in, zoom out, or pan across the frame really adds a sense of motion that you can't otherwise get without the loss of quality, because again, you're taking advantage of the extra resolution when you bring it back into that 1080 timeline. So you can add a lot of creativity to your videos as well. And another reason that I'll mention here, and we actually have quite a few members over on texasbowhunter.com that actually do some broadcast production for TV, for the Sportsman channel, for really broadcast type production. And of course I would recommend anybody that's looking to do that, if you have aspirations to do any type of broadcast or television production, then by all means I would recommend that you purchase at least a 4K resolution camera. And of course you still want to have all those other features. In that case, you're probably looking at a little different budget than the scope of this video, where we're really kind of addressing those that are just getting started filming their hunts, maybe on a budget. One of the biggest questions that I guess get asked all the time is, what camera should I buy? And my first response to them is, what is your budget? And in almost every case it's either $500 or $1,000. So the video that we did last time, we're making recommendations on 1080, or assuming that you're on a limited budget, both with your camera and your computer. And so that's why I did that video first, and then I'll follow it up with this video. So don't get me wrong, I encourage everybody to buy as much camera as they can afford, to buy the best camera that fits within their budget, while also considering all the other things that will add to the budget, whether that's a tripod, whether it's your audio system, your lenses, any of those kind of things, and of course your computer that you're going to be doing the editing with. So part of the intent of the previous video was to make you think about the features that are available on cameras and the level of importance that you might rank those. For me, I rank 4K quite a bit lower down on the list in terms of features for a camera. I like having it, but there are things like low light performance, the zoom, frame rates, all kind of different things that rank ahead of having 4K in my list of must-have features. To me, 4K is a nice to have. It's not a must-have. Again, we're talking about for those that are looking to shoot video, hunting video, primarily for YouTube application. On the flip side of that is, don't get so wrapped up into your equipment that you feel like you have to have the best equipment before you can get started. There are many successful YouTube channels that have been made with nothing more than an iPhone, even hunting videos. Now, when you start talking about hunting videos, zoom starts to become more important to be able to zoom in on your animal. Low light performance where we can't control the lighting as we might in a studio environment. If it's all you have, start recording on that. Get comfortable with that, and then as your budget allows, maybe you can upgrade to a different camera in the future, whether it's 4K or 1080. So I'd love to hear your feedback on this discussion. So feel free to post. I encourage you to post down in the comment section below. If you're part of the discussion over on TexasBowhunter.com, post in both places. I like to see the discussion generated between different audiences. Before we wrap up, one of the things I want to start doing is giving a little bit of a shout out to other YouTube channels, smaller type channels that I enjoy watching. I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to my buddy Casey Morris. So a lot of you probably know Casey. He is a tremendous photographer, still photographer, but he recently has been kind of stepping up his video game. Yeah, I've noticed Casey. If y'all get a chance, go take a look over at some of Casey's videos. Recently, he's posted videos of his son shooting a really nice buck over in the hill country. He's got an axis buck that he shot a couple weeks ago, and then also a doe hunt that he did down in South Texas. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. I'll leave a link to that. Try to post it up here if it'll allow me. If not, I'll leave a link down in the description below. So anyway, I appreciate you joining me for this video. Love to hear your feedback. If you're not already a subscriber, be sure to do that as well. Also, be sure to join us over on TexasBowhunter.com. We'll look forward to seeing you over there or on the next video.